Hi, Joanne.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Did you have to, oh, that improves. You were kind of dark there. Did you have to put in a passcode?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not sure everybody is ready for that. I'll see if I can send them a note.
It's 211-311-273.
911-273?
I think it was 211-273. Either 2 or 311-273.
Okay. I'll send this out.
This is Sylvie, and I'm here.
Oh, you made it. Good.
I made it. Good
We're
God.
trying to get everybody else on right now.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hi, Martina.
Good morning, John.
Does anybody know how I can get? Right now, all I have is one little postage stamp square.
Of everyone.
Of one person at a time.
So what kind of device?
I got it.
Okay.
I found the magic thing. Okay. So we have Sylvie, we have Nancy. Hi, Nancy. Hi,
Hi there, I'm fine. How are you?
and Joanne. Okay. So Will is not going to be here. We've got a few more. Let's give them a chance to work their way through. Oh, there's somebody else. Hi, David. Okay, Devin, we still can't see you.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Devin.
My camera fixed in just a second here,
Okay,
but I'm here.
so far as I know, Laura was planning to come. There was some glitch in the distribution list, so I forwarded her the link separately. David, would you be willing to give her a call and see if she needs help or information?
John, I sent her a note. I'll let you know if I hear back from her.
Okay, thank you. I guess we should go ahead and call the meeting to order. Devin, you can hear us even if we can't see you? Your mic is muted.
Sorry, yes, I'm here and I can hear everybody and I'm taking notes. So,
Okay, then we're off and running. We're called to order the minutes of the September 13th meeting. Have you had a chance to look those over to your satisfaction?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Do I hear a motion that we accept those minutes?
and make a motion that we accept the minutes as written.
A second?
yep,
Okay. All those in favor, wave your hand.
hi, hand is raised.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, the next item I have is that we need to introduce do we have it down? Oh, there it is. Sylvie Delamont, who was appointed to the COA by the committee and committees and approved by the town council. So Sylvie, if you would introduce yourself to the committee, just a brief little bit, and then I'll have the committee go through and give a sentence or two about themselves.
Okay. Excuse me, I live out in the Four Corners area. I'm a resident of the Rolling Hills community, senior housing, or senior living, I guess you'd call it, 55 plus, basically, they like to label us. I've been a resident of Mansfield for, let's see, since 1987. And I've not been very active in the community. Most of my working years I spent in the legal business legal profession, not as a professional. I edit the Rolling Hills newsletter, which has about a circulation of 200 within our community. I'm basically a nitpicker, and I volunteered for the commission because my friends and neighbors got tired of listening to me spout my opinions and said something to the effect of, put your money where your mouth is. So basically, that's why I volunteered, and that's why I'm here.
Good, we're glad to have you. Let's see, we can start with well, I'm just gonna go across my screen. I don't know how whether the order is the same for everyone, but I have, well, in just a minute, I'll have Joanne. Let's come back to her. I'm John Reese, and I've been on the committee for, a long time, 4 or 5 years anyway, not as long as some of the other members. I'm a fairly recent chairman, and I still ask indulgence to cover my many glitches. Let's see, I live on Farmstead Road, which is down behind the old University Stadium off Separatist Road. Okay, Nancy? You're muted.
I'm Nancy Treywick Smith, and I am a resident of Mansfield. I live on Stearns Road. I'm also the director of a home care agency in Willimantic Community Companion Homemaking Services, which provides a lot of service in the Mansfield area. So lived here in Mansfield since '94. And here I am.
Okay. Martina?
Hi, I'm Martina Wharton. I live at Juniper Hill Village. I've lived in Mansfield since coming here as a freshman in 1966. And I've been on the commission, I think, about 7 years. So welcome.
David?
Hi, my name is David. I've been on the commission for, I think, probably a month technically. I've lived in Mansfield since 1968 when my parents moved to Storrs, and I currently live on Bassett's Bridge Road in Mansfield Center.
Joanne?
Joanne Souza. I live on Birch Road on the other side of campus with all the students. And I have been here since '71, but I have only been active in the community and on the commission for a couple of years now. And looking forward to addressing some of the issues like resident students as residents in the community. So I hope we can achieve a few things, and looking forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Laura, you're not officially a member until the town council gives you the final blessing, but for all other intents and purposes, you're here, so.
Great, thank you. As John said, I'm not officially a member, but I'm very interested in knowing more about my community. I've lived in Mansfield since 1988, and I am interested in lots of nonprofits.
Okay, Devin?
Hello, my name is Devin, and I have been in Mansfield since 2019, so relatively new, and joined the commission, I guess, in 2020 officially, or maybe it was 2019, I can't remember. By trade, I am a physical therapist that focuses in care of the geriatric patient population, and I'm happy to help out however I can. I also am the secretary.
Okay, and then we have 2.5 staff members. Emil, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, Sylvie. My name is Jamil Figueroa, and I am the Outreach and Transportation Coordinator here at the Mansfield Senior Center. Quite new to the commission as well. I accepted this job in January, so I've been here ever since. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
Sarah?
And Sylvie, good morning. We talked last week and I'm gonna meet with you a little bit this week. So I know you know who I am. I am the supervisor of the senior center. I sit on the committee as an ex officio member. Pat Schneider, the director of human services, is also on the committee, although she's on vacation this week. And she is the official staff liaison. But I've been here in this role at the senior center for about 7 years. So according, compared to all you, I'm a newbie as well, except for Jamel and Devin. But nice to see you here this morning.
Thanks.
Okay, and the last is Dorothy DeVille, who set up the meeting and gets us going, and the Mansfield, Connecticut symbol you see is her kind of keeping one eye on the meeting while she does her other work.
Thank you, Dorothy.
Okay, correspondence. Second here. We got an email from Barbara Vaughn, who reconsidered her membership on the committee and sent an email of resignation. So after a lot of back and forth and switching, and I think we have a full committee now. Counting Laura, we have Will Biggle, myself, Joanne Sousa, all who have terms which will expire in 2024. And then we have Devin and Nancy and Martina, who will expire in 2023. And then David Stevens, Sylvie, and Laura, who should expire in the third rotation. So in theory, we have a rotation of 3 years, 3 members on each year. And it has gotten messed up. So David and Sylvie and Laura, your term will go to wherever your official letter says it goes, and then you will probably be appointed to a shorter term to get you on the rotation. Okay. The next item I have is reports. Now, I assume, Sarah, you're going to take over for Pat?
I have not received any additional information from Pat in terms of an update before she left, so I'm happy to provide the senior center update. I don't know if she left anything with Dorothy.
Okay. Go right ahead.
All right, well, we are rocking and rolling at the senior center. We have a really robust offering of groups, activities, events. Couple of highlights, our drive-through lunches are certainly still one of the most popular things. We're doing those just about every other week. So in October, we're doing 3 of them. We hold them on Fridays. Last week was a little lighter, but we generally get between 30 and 40 people each time. We're also doing our daily lunches that, as you know, is a collaboration between us and TVCCA. Those meals are funded through the Federal Older Americans Act. What that means is that we're a meal site for people in town who are 60 and above. The meal is a suggested donation of $3. It is designed and prepared, looked at nutritionally to make sure that folks are getting what they need for the day. Our attendance has been really low with this. We've been doing lunches Monday through Friday when we're not doing the drive-throughs. And I'd say we're getting between probably 4 and 8 people. A big day would be like 12 or 17. So we're kind of watching that and just sort of thinking about, are there other ways we could better meet people's nutritional needs? And I think that'll probably be a theme that we tackle in the new year. We've also resumed a variety of wellness services. Those were one of the last pieces to kind of incorporate back into our program. So this month, we're excited. We got to offer haircuts again. We have a new woman coming in. Her name's Tammy. She's awesome. Right off the bat, she got 6 people to come in on her first day without much notice. So we're excited. We'll be having that on a monthly basis. We also added in, excuse me, a second provider to provide foot care. That's always one of the really, really big needs in town. So we now have a podiatrist coming about every 6 weeks. He goes through people's insurance, can do a little bit more of an in-depth examination if people need it, based on other health needs. And we also will be offering pedicare, which is more just comfort and care foot care. So getting your nails trimmed, having a little foot bath, kind of doing the basics. We also are doing massage, and we also reintroduced a hearing clinic this month. So the wellness services are kind of back up and running for those of you who haven't seen it. If you remember the old MSCA laundry room disaster, it is now a beautiful, calm wellness space that we can use for all of those programs. So we're excited to have that up and going. Outreach has picked up. I'm gonna table that and let Jamel talk about all the awesome things that she's been adding in, as well as transportation. But in addition to our other programming, we're looking at kind of revamping our fitness classes. Again, attendance has been low. We're getting, 6 people in a class or so, but it's not like what it was pre-pandemic. We did have a wonderful local woman, Peggy Dillon, come in and offer to do yoga dance. And that's had a great response. So she'll be doing that the next couple of months. And we have an instructor who's looking at adding kickboxing in. So we're wondering if maybe having more of a range of classes from kind of seated all the way up to kickboxing is going to be helpful. With all of our programming stuff, we are reaching out for feedback. We want to know what people are looking for. We're saying that consistently in the newsletter. We're not getting a lot of input. But if you have people in town who would like to see something happening, are looking for a specific class, are asking about services and not sure where to get it, please send them our way. We are the hub. And if we're not doing it or we're not aware, we can find out the answers and kind of get people moving in the right direction. So again, just a reminder, if you don't get our monthly newsletter, this is a great way to see everything that we're doing. You can have it emailed, it's online. You can have it mailed if you like a paper copy. I personally do. But if you're not doing that, I recommend that you do. The other overarching big events, we have Veterans Day coming up. So this is a huge annual event we do every year. In the past, in the good old days, 3 years ago, it used to be in person. But what we have decided to do this year is to do a drive-through. We really struggled with that because getting people together and the camaraderie of that day is such a big part of it. But we were concerned, even if we limited it to just veterans, we were concerned about having 50, 60 people in a room. So we will be doing a drive-through catered luncheon. The meal is free of charge for veterans and their spouses. Personal invitations went out. But same thing, if you hear somebody, if you know somebody who isn't connected and didn't get an invitation, please send them our way. That lunch will be Friday, November 5th. We're looking at ways to make it special. We've invited the town council and the town manager to come in and greet and salute veterans. We'll also have a crew of Yukon ROTC cadets here to do the same thing. We're going to have music playing, and we're also going to set up a missing man table outside. So despite the drive-through, we're trying our best to make it kind of a special reverent ceremony where we really get the opportunity to thank all of our veterans in town. So I think that's about it. Looking forward after that, November is our crazy month. 2 weeks after Veterans, we do Thanksgiving. I am assuming at this point, we're probably going to handle Thanksgiving and Christmas the same way, that we will try to do something special in conjunction with a drive-through luncheon, but we will keep you posted as those plans develop. So,
Sarah, how does a drive-through work exactly?
yeah, so it's interesting. We started it in COVID. It took off. It goes very smoothly, but we are preparing the meal in-house. Those are like our Fresh Fridays, where we
Right.
make a seasonal homemade menu in the kitchen. And then we do a drive-through meal. We set up 2 tables outside our kitchen window. And folks line up in the parking lot around 11:30 and just drive
Okay.
through, and we say hello, check them off, and stick a hot meal in their car for them.
Okay, great.
And they also dress for the occasion. No matter what the holiday, they're out there.
Always. We love a
Yeah.
theme, Martina. We love a theme.
Right.
And they do
Come
a
in your
wonderful,
costumes. If you're coming for stuffed peppers for Halloween, you better be wearing a costume.
That's
they
funny.
do a wonderful job, and it's so nice to have our center open again.
It really is. Thank you, Joanne.
Hmm.
All right.
Other questions for Sarah? What's your capacity on the cafe meals? You said you had up to 12. Is that approaching your capacity with?
It's not, and there is no actual limit on capacity right now. What we have landed on and what we're comfortable with is we are seating people at our daily lunches at about 4, sometimes 5 if it's an odd number, people per table, and we're spacing those tables out 6 to 8 feet. So we did have a special luncheon from TVCCA come through for Oktoberfest. They're doing a big old special menu. We decided our limit that we'd be comfortable in that dining room is 30. And for that one, I think we got 17 to sign up. So that was a good push. But we are hoping it'll increase, maybe through the new year or with the holidays coming up.
So another question. So people come in and they're wearing masks. Is that how it works? I mean, when they're. Right.
Yes. So right now, the biggest requirement is that masks are required in the building at all times. We are not serving coffee or snacks with any other programs, but for lunch, if you sign up, you come in, wear your mask, sit down, you're able to take it off, have your meal, and then when you're done, they put it back on.
Okay.
Other questions
And
for Sarah?
Maybe you should mention also with our jewelry and our different classes, we all wear our masks too.
Absolutely. For anyone else at any time, even fitness right now, it is required at all times. We have not heard any update on that changing anytime soon.
And
And we
comment
have not
about,
had a lot of pushback. There's a couple people here and there always are. But for the most part, people are super, super cooperative with that and helpful.
and Mark does a wonderful job of keeping everything clean.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
Thanks, John.
Will isn't here, so we can skip the WRTV until next month. For the housing representatives, Sylvie, you were mentioned that you were from Rolling Hills, correct?
That's right, yes.
Will is our normal representative. Anything in particular happening at Rolling Hills? Are you still waiting for the final on the sewage and connections?
Well, we're waiting for a lot of things. It's they just went through. In fact, my car's parked down the road because they just went through and tore up and are replacing what looks like almost all the driveways. They're still in process for almost the entire process. It's just kind of a big mess, mostly frustrating a lot of people. There's a lot of complaints, but nothing particularly happening. We've got, excuse me, we have a lot of activities. We've just elected a new community president, I guess they call it the Recreation Committee, which is pretty active. We have a co-chair there. We have several different activities going on most of the year, big holiday celebrations. Things are obviously cut back because of COVID drastically. But we have been allowed to go back to having the resident meetings in the clubhouse with masks. And of course, there's a maximum number. But
Okay. Thank you. Martina.
But we're trying to make it popular again.
Yes, the person who I have contact with at Glenwood is out with an operation, so I'm still working on getting a liaison, a representative from over there.
Okay.
Well, you know what? If
And
you're aiming to get that something to
now
baby.
you had a backup for one of the sessions. Oh, good.
Someone
I understand now
Someone
that
needs to mute.
Beverly Scotch,
Yeah,
is she the one that resigned or the one that took her place?
Beverly resigned and we have Rhonda Daisy on as a representative. Rhonda was the backup person and she is now the representative from Juniper Hill Village.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, under old business.
Rhonda has a report. Rhonda's on, John.
Oh, hey, Rhonda, I didn't even see you log on.
Hello.
Yeah, if you would go ahead.
I don't know what can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you good.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
So this is my first meeting and I'm kind of like, not sure what I'm supposed to do. So what would you like to know?
Basically, any activities, concerns, problems that are going on at Juniper Hill?
Not that I'm aware of. We are functioning just like everybody else. We have to wear our masks indoors. It's been pretty quiet. I think everything's good right now.
If I may interject, we had a successful flu clinic on the 14th of October.
Thank you. I did not participate in that, so.
Yeah.
I forgot.
I got my flu shot.
I got mine too, but a long time ago, so that's why I'm out of sight, out of mind. Is there anything else I'm forgetting?
Probably in-person recreational activities have continued.
Yes, they have. We started bingo on Tuesday nights. It's a small turnout, but we're enjoying it. We had an entertainer come in outdoors, so that was good. Unfortunately, our program director is out for a little while, so things are going to kind of get boring around here. We'll have to fend for ourselves.
Okay. Question back to Sarah. For the first COVID-19 shot, we were very grateful for communication from the senior center. For the booster, we got contacted directly by our health insurance, and it doesn't seem like the outreach is as critical. What are your plans in terms of the booster?
Yeah, that's correct, John. We have not received any clarification or information from our health department or the town leadership regarding that. It does seem as though most folks individually are going through their providers because their providers are the ones who determine whether or not they're eligible. If at some point that opens to a wider pool, we would absolutely be ready and available to help assist people making appointments and transportation, that kind of thing, as we had in the past, but we haven't. I don't think I'm mistaken, Jamel, correct me if I am, but I don't think we've gotten any info on that.
No, you're correct, Sarah. I have not received any correspondence from the health district. like I did at the beginning, back in, February, April. I haven't received anything, but if we do, we're definitely here. And even if people are having, trouble, they can definitely reach out to me and I will definitely help them. It just hasn't been the outreach like we did in April, but we're still here to help.
Okay, thank you. Old business. I had promised to get Joanne a summary of the information I have on the history of the COA, at least the dates and changes of the charge, which I have not done, but I will vow to do better this next month. Where are we, Joanne, you had said you wanted pictures. We have a stable committee for at least a month or two now. It might be time that we could think of doing that.
Could we plan a time to meet somewhere outdoors and just have a picture taken?
We're talking, Joanne, we're talking about having a picture for the connections article.
Right. They haven't notified me yet, so I'll need the updates from you and submit it to them. But I think we're gonna have more of just a paragraph or two, but not a whole thing. They like to do individuals for the big article, but at least we could get something in there. So I'll just need a current list of people and they will notify us to take a picture outside.
Okay, thank you. You can finally do that. Okay. I've already covered the committee makeup, that we're finally stable under new business. We're scheduled to meet December 13th. What's your feeling about Zoom versus in person?
I vote for in person.
I vote for Zoom. I'm sorry.
I vote for in person.
At
It's
this
fine.
time, I would vote for Zoom.
I think in person would be nice, seeing there's a lot of new members, so at least we could meet each other in person at least once.
I like Joanne's idea, at least once. We don't know what's going to happen down the road, so if we could meet at least December, maybe.
And maybe that's the time I could plan the photographer to take our pictures.
Okay. I'm hearing a kind of consensus about at least one in-person meeting on December 13th. Sarah, can you line us up with a room? You're still muted.
John, was it November or December?
December.
December 13th. Sarah,
You have a November meeting. Hang on.
Yeah, that's what was my question. Is there a November meeting?
oh, look at
Yes,
that.
I'm sure it is.
Come on, guys, we haven't even gotten into the holidays yet.
So it's November 8th it would be.
Yes. Yep. So we could do that, or we could do November 8th on Zoom and then get together in December prior to the holidays for the 13th, whatever your preference is. Getting a room here is no problem.
If I may make a suggestion, weather permitting, November probably would be better.
Good idea.
Okay. And in your agenda, please put next meeting November 8th. I was just so anxious for Christmas.
And then just so I can plan, do you anticipate kind of going back to Zoom for December, or do you think you want to do that one in person as well?
Can we stall and wait to see how it goes in November?
I will hold the room. You let me know when you decide. That's fine.
And the cafeteria room seemed to work out better than the one we had, we shared with quilters.
Yes, absolutely. So we'll set it up like that with some tables and chairs in that back half of that room.
Great.
And also because of the virus, at least we have low numbers right now. So,
Yeah, we can be pretty spaced in that room.
right.
Okay. A major item for today. Our charge says that we report to the town council. What I'd like to see is that annually we provide them with maybe 2 or 3 issues that we think deserve the attention of the town. So not overwhelming, but a little bit, and again, not overwhelming text, maybe at most 1 page per item. Probably better to have all 2 or 3 items on the same page, but thinking of letting them know that we exist and we plan to report to them, and that they need to consider certain issues in the town. Thoughts?
Sounds good.
Okay. The next thing is how we decide what few issues we want to focus on. I'd kind of like to see a continual, ongoing, one of the issues be the senior center. We know it's not going to happen overnight, but if we continue to put that on the report, I think maybe we can eventually sensitize the town council. And we certainly know that they're not going to do it tomorrow with the commitments they already have, but we might be able to get them to think about planning, to think about a new senior center. What are the other issues that you see?
I think housing should always,
Yes.
Especially given the reports that we've had and the setback that the town has had in affordable housing. And I get the impression that for many of the town council, affordable housing and senior housing are synonymous.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, I don't think they are. But they have several projects for affordable housing, but I don't see any indication of making those units any more senior friendly than other units.
I know there's a percentage when they do new housing. Is it 16% for, minimum for housing? But is there any percentage that they have to designate to seniors?
No,
I didn't think so either.
I think as it stands with the last time I checked, with the housing that's going in across from Wright's Way, that is affordable workforce housing. Seniors can live there. You're encouraged to live there if you would like to, but I don't believe there's anything designated. And I'm not quite sure how that the other developers who are coming here to do student housing, I'm not quite sure how they're, I think there's something about they've made a deposit to the town. I don't think they have to designate senior apartments either.
Okay. That's more of a federal thing, not local. I would assume.
I don't know, but there are no designated senior housing units or developers coming to Mansfield right now. And that's an issue.
Well, maybe we could ask the town because they're the ones that regulate when doing developers, correct? There's federal laws, but couldn't they designate certain stuff for our area?
I believe the woman who spoke to us a couple of months ago, that's not the new plan. That's not the new countrywide plan. It's a different plan. It seems that the plan is to have people who are elderly, people who are seniors, live with other constituencies to make it more family friendly. I don't know. So I don't think the town is going to do anything right now, Joanne.
Okay. Well, we should encourage them to and try to keep pushing for it, even though it's not on their agenda, because our town specifically is geared towards students, and it's not fair to our community, which we are what percentage of the town? I mean, we should address that with them. Why?
Well, I think we should certainly keep it in the forefront of our reports to them, because the town is aging. I tell my daughter, technically, you're going to be a senior next year, and she says, "Oh no!" So,
no, I think we as a group have to continue fighting for the seniors for things that they are not addressing, and you know exactly what happened at Four Corners. You know, it's not fair to the seniors in this community, which have made up this community a lot longer than the students have. And, you know, we got to push. That's our job.
This is Sylvie sounding in.
Yes.
This is my primary concern. Absolutely. I've tried to do a little bit of preparation in case I was appointed to the commission. And one of the things I did was an informal, totally off the cuff research by just walking up and asking people that I saw, primarily grocery stores, out shopping, doctor's offices, anytime I've been out the last month or so. And I got people of all ages. And when I mentioned stores to them, the preponderance of perception was young students, basically. I didn't have anyone say that they considered it a good mix or anything. Everybody came back with, "Oh, that's college town, isn't it? Your students, it's a bunch of young people." And I don't like that, because I think that general perception carries over to the town when they should be planning more affordable senior housing, period.
Correct. I mean, they keep supporting what UConn is doing to us, and we keep losing control. We're known as a party college town.
I think it's a long-term power struggle that has been going on for a long time.
But we still have to fight it. We still have to be there to support our group, the seniors.
Right.
Don't let them push us out of town. And technically that's what they're doing. We've lost a lot of people that did a lot for this town, and they're just getting out of town because nothing's being offered for seniors. So, I think this is our job. To
This is
try to
Sylvie
fight.
again. I spoke with a resident of the community a while back whose mother was elderly and eligible to be moving to Juniper Hill. Now, I don't know if this is official, but she, in that conversation to me, she expressed that she was told when she informally asked, oh, maybe I should be signing up, because she said her mother was on quite a long waiting list. And she said, if I were to want one of the cottages, what would my chances be of getting in? And she was told, she claims, that there was about a 5-year waiting list. Is there any truth to that? Does anybody know? Or what would be the waiting list?
We have often seen people wait a minimum of a year. I have not known of a lot of people who have moved in there that have not waited at least, kind of the 12 months. We have seen several over the last year make the move, but I do know that they were all on that wait list for some amount of time. I wouldn't say it's 5, but I think it's probably somewhere between 1 and 2.
I waited for 2 years, and I believe that the turnover in the main building is quicker. So that is 1 to 2 years. The cottages, it takes a while to get to the cottages. A lot of the people down here are a little bit younger seniors, and they're here like, 5, 10 years.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a little bit longer to get into the cottage. So people move to the main building and then they try and get a spot in the cottage when it opens up.
What's the average age at Juniper Hill now?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to find out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I mean, there's a small percentage of housing for seniors in this town, no question about it. And by them not wanting to address it, to at least help us with new developers to put some seniors. I know they don't make as much money on seniors, but I mean, it's something we have to address and fight for.
I don't see us paying a lower tax rate.
Oh, no, it's going to get higher because of the Four Corners and development and all. I mean, it seems like they fight everything that's for seniors. And it's not right, because we do make up a majority of this town. Everything they seem to be passing is against us. And that's not going to help us get a bigger senior center or a new place. That's not going, nothing they are doing is helping the senior community. And that's something, even if we have to have a representative up at the Capitol, we need to make our statements and, go after what we feel is right in this town and not let it slip away like it is right now. We have to have a voice. We got to start with our mayor.
So the housing issue seems like something we definitely ought to include in our annual report to the town council.
Right.
Nancy had something to say.
No, I think that, didn't Tony Moran come to talk to the commission? Was it last year or the year before?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a lot of battling for bond money between the schools and, a lot of things. So
I wonder if we can put together 2 small subcommittees. One to kind of flesh out something relative to the senior center, and one to flesh out something to do with senior housing, and sort of make the case, not a 50-page exhaustive report, but at least a few facts and figures, plus statement of where you think the commission ought to go with their report.
I mean, we could look into why didn't Masonic Care come here? Supposedly because the income that they would be making wasn't going to support their facility. But there's got to be ways we could get somebody like Masonic Care or another group to develop here. And our town council is the ones that have to go after those people. So we
I
got to
think-
work. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you should, I interrupted you. No, I think I had a friend who was on the commission, who was on an assisted living committee,
Mhm.
and this was years ago. And there was and they were trying to get Masonic Care. I'm not sure what happened, but I think there was a lot of pushback from UConn too, you know, they
Well, of
really.
course.
Yeah, but yeah, there was, I mean, she worked on that for a long time and then it was like, couldn't happen. It wasn't happening. So.
And doesn't
uh,
Masonic Care still own the property, if I'm not mistaken?
I don't know, do they?
Yeah, I believe they still
don't
do.
know. But I do believe the gating item was the income of the seniors in
Right.
Mansfield to pay
To
the rate
support
that
it.
Masonic- Right.
Right. So maybe
I
not.
have a comment.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm interrupting.
No, that's okay. That's okay. This is open
I have
discussion.
a comment on quote unquote senior incomes. And I'm talking specifically about Rolling Hills. What might not be totally public knowledge is that last year, 2 years ago, the Jensen family was bought out by a corporation. We are now no longer family oriented. Basically, what's happening here is that most of, wherever possible, any new home going in is going to be a big double wide. And the prices on these are in excess of 100K. Now, this is 55 and plus housing specifically. And that's what the price tags are. And
Which
I've
is-
heard that it's kind of a battle if you own a regular single wide home that's not one of the deluxe models. It's a little bit difficult to get your home approved for resale. That's it. It's going definitely upscale in the opposite direction of where we want it to go.
Right.
And I don't like it.
They're basically pushing seniors out of this town. No question about it. And it's slipping away
Either that
from
or
them.
they gotta be seniors with 100K to spend on a mobile home.
And most seniors are not going to do that. They could go in another community, not in a community where you have college kids taking over our whole town. It's an uphill battle, and I think our mayor and they should all be backing us to a certain point, and we have to be there in front of their faces all the time because they're the only ones that can help us if they want to.
I'd like to make that our number one priority.
I agree. I've been in this town since 71 and I love my home and it's private enough, even though it's by the university. But I mean, I had the 200 kids 4 doors down from me several months ago. Now, why aren't we controlling that in our communities? A couple of weekends ago, the kids were out partying on the street and Hunting Lodge Road and all. It's out of control and they don't control it. Not one officer was there. I didn't call because I was leaving and I said, let them have fun. They should have fun, but they shouldn't be to the point that they're taking over our community and we can't even drive our cars through a street anymore. It's just out of control and they have to take control back. The Yukon pushed them out of the campus because they didn't want to be responsible and they pushed them into our neighborhoods. And now it's the town's responsibility to take control of that atmosphere. You know, they're supposed to be monitoring how many cars are in the parking lot. On weekends, there's triple the amount of kids should be into a unit. And they have to take back the control of that. They got to fight the university and they don't want to. But that's their job. That's why they're in the positions they are. And if they don't want to do it, they should step down and let somebody else do the job.
Okay, not disagreeing with anything that you said there. But that's sort of outside the issue of the Commission on Aging.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Could I get a few volunteers to try and get a one-page report to the town council on housing and the senior concerns in housing? Any volunteers?
So you want this as a part of an overall report that the senior center and the report that you're thinking about sending to the town council, is that it?
Right. So this would be a way to at least get it in front of the town council for this year.
I'll be on the committee.
Yeah, I would work on it. I'm not good at writing, but I would be happy to work on it and the people we have to get it to. I mean, there's a change of command on who can make changes, so I would be happy to work on that. But
Well,
to write,
Go ahead.
but to write, I'm not good at doing that. I know it's not, but I'm good at trying to get to the right people.
I can
Well, I'm
write
a
you-
brand new member on the commission, and I don't think I know enough to be putting any input, but I'm a damn good editor, so I'll take a look at it when it's done.
We can all put our facts together and then you could put a summary together. This is what I used to do in my job when I had my own company and I worked, and the chain of commands that stuff had to go through. All the players have changed, but I'd be happy to work on that end of it.
Well, I can write it up, and I think John is going to submit it on behalf of the commission, along with a committee report about the senior center, yes?
Right, that's what we're sort of feeling our way as we go here, but that sounds like a good start. So I have Martina, Joanne, and Sylvie, and as chairman, I'll be on there. When we're through here, if you would hang on just for a little bit more, and we can try and find our first date to meet.
And could I ask, where could we meet in person?
Anything you want. If
Would that be agreeable to everyone else?
Be in person or not.
I'm fine. I meet with my mask on.
Yeah.
You're welcome to use the center. Just let me
Thank
know.
you.
Give me a call.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And I'll
Okay.
do some housing research and try and get some facts about
My
the house.
other question, guys, just a little bit of input from me, and I'm happy to, help with this and give you whatever numbers or, things that we've heard or that we see. But my big question, and John, I love the idea of the senior center. That has been on the table for a long time. We need a new building. There are a lot of issues with the building. I could certainly speak to that. But my big question, if I were a senior in town, would be how exactly is the town supporting people in aging well and staying at home for as long as possible? What things are they supporting? What things are we putting in place in town to make sure that people can stay in their homes that they already have here? and or their residences, but can do it in a way that is safe and healthy, and they have access to community services and activities and supports. The thing that comes up for us all the time, and Jamal can speak to this too, is transportation.
Correct.
We're trying to provide transportation to seniors for medical appointments with volunteers.
And what kind of grants could you get?
Okay,
give
we
that.
do get a grant, but what kind of support could the town give to fund that? Would be my question. And I'm
Right.
being very honest. There is a lot of money coming into town through the recovery funds. I would love to see them make a commitment to really supporting the residents of this town.
I agree.
So I'm happy. And again, I'm in a funny position. I don't live here. I am a staff person. I think we at this senior center are very, very fortunate with the support and the funding that we have. Comparatively, this center has a history of being well-funded and well-supported. People walk in and say, oh my gosh, you're so lucky to have this building. Coventry doesn't have a kitchen, so I'm very realistic about that. And yes, a center needs to be on the agenda down the road, but right now we got people who need rides.
I'm gonna jump in. Can I jump in? I mean, I agree with you 100%. Because I also have an agency that serves the 10-town area around Willimantic. I always say Mansfield is so supportive of, and it is just a model in many ways. Obviously we could do more, but you're right. And so many of the individuals that I see in Mansfield are people that live in independent homes and they want to stay in those homes. And sort of that's why we're there. But you're right. Transportation is a #1 issue. I told somebody at the state level once, because I was on a committee that met with somebody at Department of Social Services. I said, that is going to go on my gravestone. Fix transportation. Please.
I'm with you. And I think Jamal is too.
I mean, seriously, for
Agreed.
years, it is such a problem. And you're right. That's one thing that really connects the people in their independent homes. I have a transportation issue, to be perfectly honest with you. I gave up driving for some physical reasons, and it's, luckily I'm married to somebody who said, I'll do anything. Just stay with me.
And there's multiple levels of that, right? Sometimes it is temporary. Sometimes it's a permanent thing. Sometimes it's related to a surgery. There are multiple levels to just us needing to figure out ways to support people better through those transitions. And guess what? We don't usually plan on those.
Right. Exactly. And, I don't know how many times I've heard somebody who got dementia, legally blind, and they're still driving out there because, it's so hard to get around without it, but the relatives say they only drive a little ways. It's like,
right.
doesn't take long,
I mean, we hear that all the time. This is colloquial, but last week we got a call from someone. Now, this is a woman that lives alone, and she comes here for lunch 2 or 3 times a week. I would argue that is really a health issue. It's critical to our wellness to be able to go have a nutritious meal and have some socialization. And she called to schedule her ride through Dial-A-Ride, but they told her they couldn't bring her Monday and Thursday this week. I have it on my list to follow up with that after this meeting because I want to know why. Why is it that is not a ride that's as important as whatever it may be? What I hear is a lot of work transportation going on in WRTD. And I'm sorry, Will isn't here because I wanted to bring this up to him, but I'll let him know. But how is that being prioritized in town? This town pays a lot of money to WRTD, and I'm not sure that's providing a very good service to seniors. So again, I am happy to sit in on these meetings, or you can pick my brain. I can try to get info as you're looking for it. I would be happy to sit down and kind of talk about some priorities that I see. Another big one for us, we delivered meals throughout the pandemic in a mini compact Ford car. We would go out twice because all the food didn't actually fit in the car, and you're kind of squeezed in with coolers. And we keep saying, we got to have a better vehicle that's suited for this. We need a better vehicle that's suited to people getting in more easily.
Yeah.
You know, a minivan with doors that open on the sides so that we could use it for both meal delivery and transportation. We are working so hard to try to keep all these bases covered, but we're doing it with like one hand behind our back sometimes, it feels like. I
Right.
don't think a van is a huge investment in this town, but it is probably time for us to start showing and asking for some things that we need to make this easier with our goal of how do we keep people at home safe, you know, and engaged.
Right. Right. No, definitely.
Speaking of which, how is our van coming along? Have you gotten any update on delivery of our van?
We did get an update since the last meeting. It is not good news. There is a worldwide shortage of computer parts that they are using
Right.
to build the vans. You've heard
Right.
about it. That's what's happening. Ours has not gone into production yet. And he said he hoped to know more in another 4 to 6 weeks.
Thank you.
So same thing, here we are providing rides, accessible rides, don't come up a lot in this town, but when they do, they're darn important. And we're trying to use a van that we use for trips, but also is our only way to provide accessible rides. There's got to be a better way.
So this should be one of the top priorities on our list.
Would we be better off to use a more generic thing like aging in place, or to be more specific and deal with transportation?
I have an opinion, but I don't want to monopolize this conversation.
Go for it.
I was
Go
gonna
for
say, it's more your bag.
I think it's both. I think it's aging in place and transportation, because
Right.
transportation is a way to help people age in place. So
Right.
somehow,
I think it's a big one in a place like Mansfield, because we can't just go out on the street corner and like catch a bus, you know.
or taxi.
So-
Right, we're too
Or
spread out.
taxi, right, you know.
I think that should be our overarching goal, right? We want to
Right.
create a community that is, you know, healthy for all ages to do well. And seniors are a big part of that. So how do we help people age and well? That's our overall goal. And then underneath that, there's going to be some bullet points. And number one should be transportation,
Right.
outreach. You know, we got other ideas we can throw into the mix when we're ready. But I really like the idea of maybe you guys approaching the council and saying, we want to know what you're doing to support people in aging in place in this town, or how can we help you figure out the best way forward, you know, to do this.
I agree. We have to be on top of it with them. And if
We
we're
have
not,
an election coming up.
Yep.
Elect seniors.
Well, you know, I think also, well, I think Tony Moran is a senior, right? Isn't she?
Yes.
Yes.
I think she is, as I recall. You know, and I was impressed at how she took UConn to task, you know, and went right in their faces, you know, about.
may I say one thing on that? It was after the fact. The deal was already done. Why weren't we on it before it happened? Nobody picks up on that. And did
Well, it was
anyone-
done I think it was
But
done
did
in
you-
secret.
But did you realize, did you hear them asking, our council is asking the lawyer of UConn, how could we communicate with UConn? What is wrong with that picture? They should have been on top of that before the fact, not after. It was announced after, but we should have had some kind of agreement with the property owner or the developer who was controlling that couldn't have happened. They could not have gone in there and done that. Nobody picked up on that. I could not believe what a stupid question in plain English that our council asked the lawyer of UConn, how do we protect ourselves, or how do we make this not happen? 2 days before it happened, it was already a done deal when we were there.
Well, not to be a wet blanket, but what we have to realize in this town, and I am a graduate of UConn, but what you have to realize in this town is that some people look at UConn as a separate entity like Yale or Harvard. It is not. UConn is a state university. And like it or not, the towns are under the state. I mean, if the state wants to come in and take your house by eminent domain, they can do it. So there are some restraints that the town is under in dealing with the state because UConn is the state. And that's what we have to realize.
I know, it's run by
Ouch.
legislation, yeah. I mean, but what happens to all the money that this town has invested in the development of that area, the sewers, just everything? Taxes we're losing on that property. What happens to all that money that we're losing? Is the state reimbursing us for that? No, we're gonna pay it through taxes. And talk about pushing more people out of town.
The time is getting away from us. We have Martina, Joanne, and Sylvie working on a housing thought. Let's continue the rest of the discussion in November. And the thought is in November, we'll meet in person at the senior center. Is that a consensus?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So
I will do my
everybody
best
but
to
Martina-
work out some childcare for that day. So I'll keep you all posted.
Okay.
Totally your
If you-
comfort level, but he is welcome to come to the building if that works for you. We've done that before and everybody would love it.
Okay, then thank you all, everybody but Martina, Joanne, and Sylvie, and we'll just work on a date when we can meet.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good
Thank
day.
you.
Thank you. Have a
Yes.
good day, everyone.
Very,
Bye.
very productive meeting, John. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good to see you, Rhonda.
Call me when you're done with your little meeting, please.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye. Uh-huh.